Okay, so today we are going to continue from where we stopped our last class, which is on JavaScript. We are talking about we have discussed how JavaScript can be implemented in our web pages. We said that JavaScript can be added in two ways. We can add the JavaScript to header section of an HTML page. You can also add the JavaScript to the body section of the HTML page. So also we also said that JavaScript can be internal JavaScript. We can also write the external JavaScript. In addition to that too, we also talk about the script tag, that whether you are adding JavaScript to the internal section, you are using JavaScript as internal or external, you have to write your JavaScript code inside the script tag. We discuss all this, and we also implement some basic concept. We implement a practical aspect on how you can be able to add a JavaScript to your HTML page by creating the first JavaScript called internal JavaScript and also the external JavaScript. So today now, we are going to start with some of the concept of programming in JavaScript. And that concept start from understanding what the variable is in the JavaScript, what operator is, what's the conditional construct, and the loop construct. So now we are starting with what we mean by what by variables. When we talk about variable, a variable is a name of location in the computer memory that can be used to store a data. When we are writing a program, I want to write a program that is going to manipulate the data or any number. You have to declare a location. You have to specify a name in the memory that can going to use to hold that particular value. It is very important. Assuming I want to write a JavaScript to a program that's going to process the value you send from a form. Maybe for example now, you created a form for the email, or you create a form for the email on your HTML page. Here you say username, and you have a particular text box, and you have another information again, say password, and you have for a text box like this for password. Or maybe you have a text box like this and go to accept value like like age again. And you also have for a text box here. So the moment you want the JavaScript to manipulate this information, you get it now, you can have the moment you want the JavaScript to process the information in your HTML, you have to define what you call a variables. Because by the time you put a value like like 10 inside this place now, that 10 is going to send to your computer memory. There must be a location in your computer memory which you must have declared to hold this value for 10, or to hold this particular value of 7 here, or to hold this particular value for 20 here as the age. So that location you declare is what you call a variable in JavaScript. So very important that at any time you are going to process any value in the JavaScript, you have to declare a variable to hold that particular value. So, but to declare the value that I'm going to hold the variable, to declare the variable that I'm going to hold the value, you have to make use of a keyword which you call var, followed with the name you want to use as as a variable names. For example now, okay, for example here now, I can say var maybe username like this. That's a variable name. Or I can say var pass w, that's another variable name. I can also say var age, that's another variable name. One thing you must know is that your variable must be formed from letter A to Z. You can use any letter from A to Z to declare to form your variable. Follow with what? Digit 0 to 9. Any digit from 0 to 9, you can use them to form a variable. But I want to use a single letter to get it now. That's number 1. And 2, you must not use what? JavaScript keyword. You must know JavaScript keyword. Example of the JavaScript word keyword now is referred to as what we call function. Must not use it. Do you get it now? Apart from that again, we also have var. You must not use it. Apart from that again, we also have so many one again. Alert. You must not use it. Alert. You must not use for document. All these are some of the word JavaScript word keyword. You can't use them as a variable. Also, your variable must not contain what? Must not contain space. Must not contain space. Space are not allowed when you are creating your word variable name. You get now? So these are the most important word rules you have to understand when you are forming a variable in JavaScript. Now, let's say we have some information like this. They can ask us to define a variable for those information. So this will be some of the variable you can use now. Okay, like here now, we have what we call first name here. We can have last name here, and we can have date of birth. You can have a total pay. You can have unit price. So all these are the different type of information. So I'm going to the variable for first name. I can say f name. That's 1. I can say fn. That's 2. I can even do say first name. First name in full. Even though I can say maybe any form of variable name. They get now, but make sure the name you declare as a variable resemble the information you are creating that particular variable for. You can even do say name. They get now, or like name 1. Why you come to the last name here, it can be L name. That's another variable. LN, another variable, or you can say last name, or you can use name name 2 again. For the date of birth now, I can say variable is DOB, like an abbreviation. I can say B date, or I can say birth date, or I can say date underscore birth, like this. It's also a correct variable name. You get it now. And total pay now, you can say total pay, like this, is a variable name, or total pay is another variable name. So while the unit price can be UP, or unit price, like this. Can say unit price, like this, is a correct variable name. You get now. Or I can say unit underscore price. All these are the different way you can declare a variable when you are creating a JavaScript. So it is very important that creating of variable is very important when we are creating a JavaScript now. Now let me write some JavaScript code to see how to use a variable. So the code we are going to use now is we are going to write a JavaScript that's going to declare a variable, but we are going to create a form. That form we are going to create will accept a name, like the first name and the last name. I want to use the JavaScript to store that information. I want to display the name again. You get now? So I will need to create a form that can accept the information, store into the JavaScript variable, and display it through the JavaScript. So to do that again, I'm returning back to what? To here. So I'm going to look at one of the form we have created here, maybe from the contact us page here now. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to name it save as okay. I say variable, I call it variable form now, okay, underscore what? JS. Since I'm writing JavaScript to this, good. So let me see how this particular one, this form will look like before we need to start modifying it. Okay, good. So I'm returning back to this code again. I'm going to first change something here. I call it what? Using variable. Using variable. That is what this one all about now. So I'm not using this section for the section I don't want to use it for the Google map. So I'm going to do something like merge them together by saying column span 2. Okay, so I save it and I say what I call it what student data. Student data. I say student information. Okay, so I want this one to collect information about the student. So let me say this again and see. Okay, that is it now. So in this case again, so I will return backward to this form here now. Okay, I will return to this form. The width here 50%. No, let me save this one again and okay, so save and okay. Now so this is going to be surname, other name. Good. So I already have the surname, other name, okay, address, phone number, email. So let me okay, let's see, all this information here is what I want to create a variable for. I will now click on submit. Good. So the next thing I have to create my JavaScript and go to process this information. So I will return to a script folder I've created here. You get now, and create a new JavaScript inside this script folder. My JavaScript is going to be what? Or variables. Now I will say dot what? JS. Very good. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to define a function that I'm going to process that variable. I will call it what? Function. I will say function. The function name is going to be get what? Variables. You can want the function to get information about the variable. So I open and close it. So I'll now declare the variable one by one. Variable f name, that's for the first name. Now, variable f name, I'm going to use that variable for what? For the first name here. Okay. Because we have let me confirm. Okay, surname, other name. So I'm going to use variable s name. That's for surname, and also var o name for other name, and also I'm going to have var email. I'm still going to have var phone. Okay, so each of these variable now, and let me see other type of information I need to capture here now. So email, phone number, subject and message. Very good. So I also declare variable for subject and what and the message. That's not going to be what? var subject. Good. Okay. And var what? Message. So these are all the variable what I needed now. So the next thing now is every information that they enter in this form, because this is the form input element, I want to retrieve it and store into the JavaScript. So to do that again, there is a instruction in JavaScript which you call document, simply because the JavaScript interact with the HTML, because every HTML tag have a corresponding instruction that they use to represent it in JavaScript. Again, every HTML tag has a corresponding instruction that you to represent it in JavaScript. Those instructions sometimes are referred to as object. Like for example now, all this HTML code, they are inside a particular tag called body, and this body in JavaScript is referred to as document. When in JavaScript we say document, we are referring to the body tag. If we say window in JavaScript, we are referring to our browser. So there's a command in JavaScript which we call document.getElement. Now inside this body, table is element, tr is element, td is element. There are many elements there. So when we say document.getElement, it means you want to retrieve a particular element that belong to this body. That's why that body contain all other elements. So the main element we want to retrieve here now. So the main element you want to retrieve here now is this element we call what? We can say element, which is the one that hide is called surname here. That is it. So to retrieve it, we return to JavaScript here. We will now say surname equal to something like this, equal to document. Okay, we say dot get element by ID. That means in my HTML page, which element have the ID? All elements have an ID, but ID is unique. The element with the ID surname is what I want to retrieve now, and that is the input type text box here that contain what the information for surname. You get now? And this is the box we are talking about. That once you type surname here, I want something that is inside there, because this text box is already given an ID name. The ID name for it is called what? Surname. So in this case, I will say get element by what? By ID, and the ID is for surname like this. That's why we are defining the ID for every input element. We will now say dot value here now. Dot value. That means the value means what to type inside this box. System is going to retrieve it. And when system retrieve what to type inside here, it will store it in this variable here, s name. So that's how we got the first information from HTML into the the surname here. So we can test this, but this is what you need to do. I will now write something. Okay, let me get the second one first. I can copy this code again and say, okay, get the second one. That means I have another here now, which is the other name. ID name here is one, is the other name. I copy the ID and I return it back here. Get element by ID when it's the other name. And whatever the value in those elements, system should retrieve it. So I will implement the same thing for email again. I will implement the same thing here for the what? For the email. So I can copy this one again and say get element by ID. But this time around now, the ID for the email here is still called what? Email. I will do for the phone and this subject. So let me implement the three at the same time again. The email is going to be email, while the phone is going to be phone. Is going to be phone. And the subject is going to be what? Subject. Subject now. Okay. I'm going to be subject. While the message will also be what? Be message now. So it's going to be message. Okay, that is it. So the next thing now is I want to display this information. So I can now say, okay, document dot what? Dot write now. Document dot what? Dot write. So I open these braces here like this. I want information to be very big. I can put it inside the quotation here now. Quotation first. And I want to use H3 to display it. So here now, I can now come down here and put say surname. Surname is okay. Surname is like this. So I can say plus the variable for surname. That's surname here, S name. You know it's the S name I have stored the value to now from the HTML. I'll say S name here. So I will say plus again so that I can close the word, the HR word tag. Close word H2 tag now. And the bracket that contain it here. Close the bracket too and semicolon. Okay, this is not supposed to be here now. That's it. So that means I'm displaying this particular S name here now. So that is it. So if I'm going to display the other one too, I will do the same thing. But let me display just 3. I'm going to display surname, other name, and the word email. Surname, other name, and email. This is going to be what? Okay, other name. I want other name to be displayed, and the value I store into other name. And the last one is what? Email too. And this is going to be what? Email. Okay. Now that I'm through with my JavaScript function to access the value of all variable and display it. So I can comment this remaining one here now. So this the last 3. Let me comment them. See, I'm not using them now. We'll come back to them. File, edit, comment. Good. So I'm only using the 3 variable. So how do I use this variable in JavaScript? So that means I return to my form here. I will now add the JavaScript to this HTML page. So to add the JavaScript to this HTML page, I'll return to the one, to the header section here. I'll now open my script tag. So when I open my script tag, I will say type to specify the type of the script. This is going to be what? Test/1 JavaScript now. That is it. And after that, I will now specify src, the name of JavaScript I want to use. My JavaScript is stored inside a folder called script. And the name is what? The name of JavaScript I'm written as JS script. So I can close this like this. No, I will now close the script tag like this. Yeah. Just like this, we create a normal tag. So this is how I create a script tag now. So once the script tag is created, the next thing is what? Remember, the first one is to write your script file. When after you write your HTML page, you now write the script file. After writing the script file, I'm referencing the script inside my HTML page. And after that again, I will now specify the word, the the event which I want you to execute that JavaScript. So let me go to the word add word JavaScript. So this is the JavaScript now. So I want to, when I click on the button submit, whatever information I submit, I want the JavaScript to display it. So I will now come to this button here now. This is the button section. I'll come to this button and apply event which you call on click. That is on click the button. I'll say equal to 1. When I click the button, which of the JavaScript code I want to execute, I come to my JS. That JavaScript code is this function, get variable. So I will now specify that name, get variable, so that once I click on the wall, on the submit button, system locate for the wall, system locate for that JavaScript. So here now I put get variable, comma, semicolon, sorry, and I save. Returning back to this, I'll refresh this page again. I can now add some name now. I see what Ayomide and Ayomide Adewumi, and the email ayomide@yahoo.com. You can see now, these are the three information I specify. So the moment I click on this submit now, can you see them? 1, 2, 3. JavaScript have displayed this information here now. But what about situation maybe I want the information to appear inside this particular message here? It's still possible. Do you get now? It's possible. So to display information inside the message box here, what I just need to do is that one, the message box here, to hide the name as message, I will now change my JavaScript to something like this again, whereby I'm going to call the message I'll use the document dot get element by id to reference that message here. I will now say okay, let's it equal to, do you get it now? S name here now. That's the first one. I want to join it to, I'll say plus maybe pipe side like this. I'll now put another one plus 1 whole name. Also plus 1 plus quotation like this again, and also plus 1 email. But one challenge here now is in, since I want the space, I'll give a space here and space here, the space here and 1 and space 1 here. So I can comment this one here now. By click on file, edit and 1 comment. So when I save this page again, let's see what will happen. The name again, Ayomide Adewumi, and when I click on submit, can you see? That is it. So this is how the JavaScript can be used to store variable. So this JavaScript can store any type of value, not only the letter word like this. I can store any type of value in this type of this particular JavaScript. So apart from that again, we also have another thing we call operator. So what we use operator is about? Operator is a one or more character that are used for computation. If you want to perform any type of computation in your JavaScript, we can use operator. An operator can be used to modify the value you store in a variable. If your variable has stored a number or want to change the content of variable, we can use operator in JavaScript. Or if you are performing any type of the operation like computation, we can use operator in JavaScript. Now, there are some of the operator available in JavaScript now. That is called arithmetic operator, assignment operator, and arithmetic assignment operator. We also have comparison operator and the logical word operator. Let's look at the first one. The arithmetical operator are used to perform arithmetical operation like on variables and literals. When we talk about literals, literals are the value that's stored into a variables. Like for example now, when I have something like this, var f name, this is a variable now, and I say that f name equal to what, Ayomide, because this is a value that's stored into a variable. This is a literals. Do you get it now? Also, I can still come and say var address like this, and I say it's equal to what, 111 Lagos Road, Ikorodu. This is another word, literals. Do you get it now? So I can still have another literal like I say var age equal to what, maybe 55, 50, maybe 10. This is another one, literal. Any value you store into a variable is referred to as what, as literal. So when we are talking about the literal here, that is the value. So you can use arithmetical operator to perform any operation on literal and variable. Some of the arithmetical operator we have is called addition here, subtraction, multiplication, division, and what, modulus. So we all know that what, the plus sign perform addition, and we have minus for subtraction, asterisk is used for multiplication, and the forward slash is used for division. While the next one here is used for modulus. When we call it what, modulus. Modulus is a divisible word operation, but modulus divisible operation return the word remainder. Return remainder of what, divisible operation. Yeah. The modulus return the remainder of divisible word operation. That's what the modulus will return. For example now, if I have something like that, I say 8 mod 2 like this, system is going to give me 0. Because if you divide your 8 by 2, you will not have any value remain. But if I have 11 mod 2, my remainder is going to be what, 1. But if I have 7 mod 3, or 7 mod 4, the remainder is going to be what, to be 3. So that is what this particular percentage represents. Anytime you divide the number by 2, what remains is what is going to return. You can also implement 2 with the JavaScript. So we are going to modify our form. Let's see how to create a JavaScript form that performs some calculation. But we are going to make use of this one now, which we call a calculator form. So I'm creating another form now, or I'm turning my first form to calculator here now. So I'm going to save this variable to this form now to what, calculator form now here. So I call it what, calculator underscore js here now. Okay, good. So but I'm going to reduce some of the value I have here. So I don't need the row for message again. I don't need the row for subject again. I don't need the row for phone number and the email. So and that is it here now. So now this will soon be over now. So now, okay, so what I'm going to do now, let me change the information. I call it what, simple calculator. That's the code, that's the form we are creating now. Okay, This one is going to be for the first number. Say we enter. Good.